and I always tell them, that's physics. Like if you're in a car with no brakes, you'd have to put your foot out in front of you to stop. That makes sense. If you're running and your foot hits out in front of you, you're putting on the brakes. When you're accelerating, every step that you take, there's going to be some propulsion and some braking. First, when it hits, there's some braking, and then there's a propulsive phase. We want to decrease the braking effect and maximize the propulsion. On the first 4 steps, there should be 0 braking. There should be 0 braking. Like when you look at the graphs of the foot strike, there should be no braking when somebody's trying to accelerate. And that's all due to where their foot placement is. If their foot lands too far in front of them, brakes go on, and now everything falls apart. Ankle dorsiflexion, I don't actually use the term dorsiflexion with kids. We just say knees up, toes up, but we will talk about it. The ankle, they need dorsiflexion because if your foot is pointed, it does 2 things. So pretend like his foot is, instead of here, is pointed. How much closer to the ground is it now? Quite a bit closer. And then the second thing that happens is when a plantar flexed foot hits the ground, what's the first thing that happens? It has to decelerate. Yeah, there's a lot of joint deformation, is what they call it, like in the scientific literature. Joint deformation, essentially like bending of the joint when it hits the ground. Joint deformation is essentially an energy leak. Because when your foot like has to decelerate, before it accelerates, now like all sorts of stuff is lost. The fastest people in the world have super rigid ankles, so that when their foot hits the ground, boing, it springs them forward. So we do a lot of work on like foot placement, and ankle rigidity, so that athletes get how to spring off of that.